Hey, I'm Kate.
And I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is Feast.
Sheath.
And Shatter.
Is it hot in here or is it just me tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety? Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us? Or is that a dagger? It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter. It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter.
Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome back. We have a first on the podcast. We all learned last week that Rachel is in fact human.
What?
Yeah. Like she
Rachel
doesn't
learned that too.
Yeah. So we'll hold it over her head forever. She hated that we added structure and she intentionally deleted the podcast because my little ADHD brain was trying to get us on like a certain schedule. And she was like, I hated that. And she deleted it. So we're here again.
I believe it's unforeseen technical difficulties.
That is how we have framed it since then. But let's be real and honest. Well, as three women who've been reading fantasy their entire lives, we are here to talk again about a book and our feelings.
Yeah.
So here we are talking about the first two sections of House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I don't know if you've heard of her. Never covered her books before.
No.
It's our first time for
First
everyone.
time. I've never heard of her before this moment.
Yeah, she's all right. She's all right. So we're going to talk about try and hit some of the kind of macro things in Earth and Blood. But first we'll start off with Hannah.
Yes.
What did you think about the first two parts of this book?
I think that I really enjoyed them. What were they about?
So the first two parts are the Hollow. So we've talked about this before, but just to reiterate, the 7 sections before the end of Sky and Breath are the 7 layers of Hell, 1L, different planet, 7 princes, 7 layers. So this one is the Hollow, or the Hollowing, as I like to call it. And the Chasm? No. I lies to you. Wait, what is it? The Trench.
Yes.
The Trench. Yes. So the Hollow.
The Hollow.
Right. What you got?
It's a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Lots. We meet some people. We get all of these lovely relationships ripped out of our hands, torn away from us. And the reason you call it the hollowing is because Bryce gets hollowed out. Yeah. She becomes a shell of a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just becomes a shell of herself. She goes through some really traumatizing shit, and that's basically where we end the Hollow.
Yeah. What order? So we know what order Rachel read these books in because we've been along with her journey.
Yes.
Her journey has been with us on the pod.
Yes, it has.
So this is your 14th book. Congratulations.
Thank
really
you.
accomplishing things here. But what order did you read Sarah J. Maas in?
I read Akatar.
Ekotar. Sorry.
And then I read Throne of Glass. And then I read Akatar again.
Heard on that.
Okay, so not counting rereads, it was Akatar, Throne of Glass, Crescent City.
Right.
And I believe that is whenever I'm telling new people whenever I'm spreading the gospel.
Correct. Doing the good Lord's work. Doing the cauldron's work.
Doing the cauldron's work.
Doing
I
Cathona's
recommend
tits work. Doing
that
Cathona's
order.
tits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing the Erd's good doing the vat of Erd's good work.
By Erd, you should read Akatar first.
Yeah. I would go, yeah. I would
Cathona's
agree.
tits. You should. So I like to ask people, I like to personalize it a little bit more. I think that if you are a fantasy reader like myself, I reading Throne of Glass first worked for me because, I mean, those are the kind of books I read. So I just think it has to do, but I agree if someone, like I have.
If they're not used to fantasy.
If they're not, if they need the most accessible intro.
Hit them with that resand.
Or.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if they are a reader like Rachel, who is a little bit more discerning and has a little bit more high like expectations for the art of writing.
A smarty pants.
A smarty pants, if you will. You know, I think that there are pieces of ACOTAR that feel a little bit more like, oh, that's the stuff I want to read right
Yeah,
there.
ACOTAR's a little bit less YA.
Yeah.
I think Throne of Glass would have been too YA for me to start with. I'd have been like, no,
No thanks.
no, this is too young adult. No thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always like to ask those questions, but so you came to Crescent City. I the whole reason why I ask is because I want to get you guys' like, what did you think of the first 100 pages of this book the first time you read it, if you can remember?
I just remember having my heart ripped out. I remember I felt like Bryce.
Yeah.
I just felt so robbed of everything. And I've said this before, I think on the other time we recorded.
You mean the other 2 hours of our lives that was trash?
But in my gullible brain, you know, I'm very gullible.
Accidentally trashed.
Let's not use accidentally in quotes. Let's not say gullible. Let's say you're a vibes reader. You read for vibes.
Okay. All right, we'll say that.
You believe everything they tell
I really
you.
believed that I was reading a book about this wolf pack and about, you know, I thought it was going to be Danica forever.
Yeah, one man wolf pack. Yeah.
And, you know, Danica does turn out to be a main character in all these books, but I didn't know she was going to die.
From the grave.
Yeah. It felt like the opening to Up. That's what the first 100 pages are.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, that would be an amazing way to start that show.
100.
Yeah.
Like, what if the first, like, you do the show and instead of having an episode, you have like a 10-minute like just montage of
Them having a great time together.
And then
living
being-
their best lives.
and then the show,
and then Pulp.
And then Pulp.
and then pulp.
Yeah.
Just like
And then Pulp.
in The Boys. That was something I mentioned the first time, is that all the pulpiness of the dead bodies reminds me of The Boys and Gen V, where like just the way that it's like CGI pulp.
Yeah.
Like just, look,
Blech.
yeah, hard to take in.
Yeah.
So what about your first 100 pages?
Yeah, it was the opening from Up.
So how did you feel going from, you know, you've had some thoughts on like Throne of Glass, the first few books there. You've had some feelings about some of the books. So
Yeah.
your intro to Crescent City, how did that feel?
I really like this setting. I prefer this setting to her like swords and
Yeah.
like her medieval fantasy setting. Like she feels like she inhabits this world more than she did the Throne of Glass world. The Throne of Glass world very felt like, I read fantasy. I know what a fantasy setting is. I'm just going to put them in that world where there's pirates and fairies and
Pirates.
everybody
Gross.
travels by horse and
Yeah.
whatever.
And there's small creatures and no electricity.
And this was like, hey, let me figure out how to take that and give them cell phones,
Right.
and laptops,
and computers.
Yeah.
And mix the magic and the science.
right.
Which I will say this probably more than once. I think she does really well. It's like one of my things that I actually really like.
Yeah. The uniqueness of this setting would have made me read this regardless of the plot. Just how unique the world is that she creates for this. It
So-
didn't feel like, oh, good, another fantasy novel.
So it sounds
Great.
like to me,
Aw.
Rachel, what I'm hearing you say is that
You're a fan.
you like this book.
You're a
I did like
fan.
the first one.
Okay. So I don't like. We're gonna reverse what she just said. You didn't just say that. We're not there yet. I don't want to hear. I don't need it. I'm not ready to listen to you bash on Sky and Breath yet. So let's just pause.
It wasn't
Stick
bad.
to the
It
Halloween.
wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as the first one.
Yeah. Well, I have said previously, this is actually of all
Dig
of her
the knife.
I'm just messing. Just stir in the
pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stir in the cauldron.
You do one thing wrong.
Give
in
me
a
a
year
Nessa-
and a half.
One
Go
time.
get me ataraxia, and I'm just gonna stir the cauldron with it. That's actually what we use her second great sword for. It's just as a cauldron stirrer.
Perfect.
Yeah. But I love this book. Lahaba, you will hear me. I relate to Lahaba more than any character ever that's ever existed. And as a lifelong reader, I think I will be able to say for quite some time until my obsessive hyperfixation ends that, House of Earth and Blood is my favorite book of her 15 books. I think that it is clean and crisp and the pacing is good. And I think that Sarah hit her stride and figured out the kind of novel that she wants to write, the kind of books that she wants to write. It is satisfying. It is emotionally impactful. It does everything that I personally want a book to do. And it does it at a level and a tier that I cannot think of another book that does it as well for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that a lot of other people might not agree, but for me, this book is perfect. But that being said, the first time I read it, I think I had to start it several times because I was listening to it. I wasn't looking at the words. And that does make a difference for the way I'm absorbing the context.
Mm-hmm.
But going into this universe that is modern and all of a sudden having all of these, like, the amount of info dumping that we get in the first 100 pages in this first part is insane.
It's a lot.
And when you finish the book, after that incredible ending, like, we are assuming we didn't do a spoiler warning. So here it is. We're going to talk about every book that we've read before this.
Yeah.
We might talk a little bit about Sky and Breath. We hope at this point you have read this book. Because if you haven't, then I'm just not sure what kind of choices you're making.
Right.
Don't listen to us talk about it.
Go home and rethink your life.
Go home and read it if you care about spoilers.
Yeah.
Some do, some don't.
Mm-hmm.
But the end of this book, when you figure out who the big bad is in this book, when you've watched Bryce vacuum up the ashes in the most epic way possible, you realize you literally got almost all the information that you needed, not necessarily to solve the puzzle, but that you were presented with the info at the very start of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so acute in the way it's like presented. This is a modern fantasy murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
That is not something we've seen her do before.
No.
I think it was executed fairly well. I mean, I don't think that the plot of this book is like the strongest. I think the plot's fine. I don't think it's the strongest part of it. For me, it's the emotional connections.
And that's okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the character development.
Yeah, the character that they pull you through.
Right.
Although if you look at where she went from Throne of Glass, where it was kind of a murder mystery because people were getting murdered, but she was like, maybe his organs fell out falling down the stairs.
Yeah.
Like we go from that.
Oh, do you remember? What do you think about that part?
Oh, you know what? Listen to that episode. I'm sure I talked about it for like 45 minutes. So then we come to this book where it's like, oh, we're actually going to investigate. And are they like trained investigators? Not necessarily.
Well, Bryce isn't.
But we don't make huge like, that guy got killed right next to where the other guy got killed. Oh, that was probably an accident.
Yeah.
We
his
don't make
organs fell out. That happens on the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she basically is doing like Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah J. Maas grew up in New York City. So she is a city girl. And you could feel her connection to city life in this. I think that at some point she has been a party girl because we get this intro. This is something that like we kind of see Nesta do, but kind of a reverence for partying and having friendships and being right out of college and living that like the best years of your life, right? Bryce is older. She's not a teenager because teenagers, that mentality doesn't work in a modern setting.
Right.
Like you're battle hardened 19 in Prithian,
Yeah.
but a 19-year-old in Midgard is like a 19-year-old here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her characters
In
are a little bit
college.
older. Yeah, graduated from college. And like really living up our friendships, our boyfriends, our roommates, doing drugs. We get a lot of coke and weed
Yeah. Mirth
Yep.
root.
and light seeker,
Yeah.
and we've got this human fae girl, right? And she's not like, we always get human crosses. Like Sarah really wants us to like love our humanness, but also be Fae at the same time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So-
she likes a high-powered character.
She does.
And her readers like a high-powered character.
I do prefer that.
'Cause she
I
tried
don't
to
wanna
give
read about-
Personally, I do.
I don't want to read about humans.
like the most hated
Ugh.
character ever is Kale.
Yeah, and he's the fucking human.
He's the only
basic
human.
ass
Poor
Kale.
Kale.
Yeah.
I like Kale.
I do
Right.
like Kale.
We don't hate Kale. Kale.
No, we don't.
Kale.
I don't know.
This
Kyle.
podcast does not hate Kale. I don't hate Kale. I'm just saying that like he is the most hated.
If you
And
hate
it's-
Kale, make different choices.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You're allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah. Just question
Yeah.
whether it's
That's
because he's human.
fine.
He's literally the only one who's not. Like,
yeah,
slinging power
Kale
around.
is the friend that you already have.
Yeah.
And he shows up a little wonky in a fantasy book.
And he went to therapy and he did the work and he's
And
trying.
then he met the
you know?
most incredible wife of all time who can probably do a C-section.
Probably.
100%.
Yeah.
She can.
100%.
She could teach
definitely.
everyone in Prithian how to do that.
Yeah, science. Yeah, you know who else could? Hypaxia, but it's fine. We won't be petty. So we've got this human fake girl, all these people around her, which we're kind of like, what's going on? Like, they're all trying to kind of protect her. Like, we get introduced to this world that is set up very much like the Roman Empire. One of the cute little things that happened on the last podcast that was erased was I realized that it's like Rome.
It is Rome.
It's Rome.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
It's like a
Seven Hills.
city of Rome.
Yeah.
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 So everyone's got like sun glistened skin, and there's
on the
olive
Mediterranean.
groves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I believe your words were, it's almost like it's Rome. And we were like, it is Rome. 'Cause
And then
is
I was
Rome.
like, oh.
oh.
And it was a funny moment if you were there. And we
Yeah.
were there, but we'll tell it to you from our memory.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I love you so much. And I appreciate
gonna quit.
everything you do. No, please don't quit. If you quit, we'll just
I want you to know that if Kate or I were in charge
this would have happened 4
of
times.
this type of the technology aspect of this, there would be no there would be no episodes.
Yeah. No hobby cast. Nobody has a hobby
Nope.
cast.
We go home after
go
work and that's it.
But anyways, this is a good joke though. It's funny. But if you
Yeah.
if you're
You
if-
get one podcast to rip me about this.
okay,
One.
and then we'll never
and then never speak of it
We'll
again.
I'll never speak of it again.
No, you can speak of it again.
Okay, if it's relevant.
Kate's like, but I want
I
to.
can't promise.
How can I not?
Well, it's just
it's fine.
I pedestal you because you're such a competent human being. So you make one mistake and I just can't forget.
It's
when
fine.
when Kate and I go blunder through our everyday lives and do this type of thing daily, it is so much fun to know that Rachel can do something like this.
Yeah. So as we're like crying and
Just
Rachel's
give us
giving
this.
us tasks and action oriented goals, we'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
But anyways, we've got this Roman Empire type thing, and there's this, oppression and enslavement and that kind of thing is a theme that we see pretty frequently in her books.
Yeah.
But in this one, we've got this very like structured hierarchical society.
Caste.
We've got almost a caste system. We find out really early on that our like male protagonist, Orion Hunt Athalar,
Ryan.
is an enslaved angel that
Yeah.
rebelled, and the Asteri fucked him up. We got these Asteri folk that we hear really early on about. She does a much better job of setting the scene, and like we understand the stakes and the power of these folks way more organically
Yeah.
than in some of her previous writing. And this is such a great point of like where Throne of Glass started and then where we are in Crescent City.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I think her world building is great. I really like it. And every time I read it, I think I've read it 6 times.
This year.
6 times this year. In about a year and a half. Since August of 2022, I've read it 6 times. And every time you read it, you catch on a little bit more. You're like,
Yeah.
damn, she mentioned that? It's like I
Yeah.
could have almost figured it out.
Uh-huh.
But, sorry, my brain. I just lost my brain. Oh, houses. I wanted to talk a little bit about the houses. Yeah. We get this intro at the very start of it where we get this breakdown of one of the ways that they've kind of pitted the people of Midgard against each other is they've put all these different magical type Vanir or creatures, lowers than the higher forms, in these houses. And one of the questions that we asked was, what is your favorite house and what is your least favorite house?
Oh, what house would you be in?
What house would you be in and what house would you want to destroy?
I said I would be in Earth and Blood, I think, because of the witches.
Yeah, because you're a witch.
Because I fancy myself a witch.
Yeah.
And I would really hate to be in Sky and Breath because I'm afraid of heights.
Reasonable. Reasonable reasons.
Yeah. I think I said Flame and Shadow.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
We know.
Slytherin, Flame and Shadow,
Slytherin.
vampires, anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just who you are.
It's who I am.
Did you say which one you would least prefer?
I don't think we got there, but maybe the air one.
Yeah.
I think you
Sky
said
and
the
Breath.
waters one.
Did I? No, I
You said the
I liked-
waters because you don't want to be pruny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would be House of Sky and Breath, no doubt.
Yeah.
Make me a fae princess with
Yeah.
some wings. Give me fae angels, which they are probably the same thing anyways, as we see like Draken and Miriam and Prithian are basically fae angels. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But, and then I wouldn't want to be, I just don't relate to House of Waters. Although Rachel has a really good point. In Sky and Breath, they're a lot cooler in Sky and Breath.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck all the rest of the plot. I want to be on the like octopus shaped city ship down in the ruins of whatever's happening at the. We're there for like 2 seconds. They're like, "What's this?" And it's like, "Oh, it's a ruin. It's like there's some carvings in the wall." But anyway, look,
15,000
we're gonna
years
go back.
old.
Anyone want to go back to Crescent City? Be like, no. Can I volunteer to stay here? Like, I don't want to go back to Crescent
Yeah.
City.
It's nice down here.
Yeah. And the leadership seems a lot more democratic or just
The
reasonable.
queen
Yeah.
seems
Seems like Ted
cool.
Lasso is really running the show out there.
Yeah.
You know? Just healthy.
I think so.
Yeah. They're being chased. They're being chased by like the evil submarines. And they're like, oh, it's fine. We'll look like a rock. And
Yeah.
they're all just like walking.
Watch
around.
this.
And they're just like, they just like fly past them.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the sorry, I was just thinking about how we just talked about Sky and Breath in the middle. It's fine. If you are listening.
You said.
We
you
already
already
said
know.
said.
second half of Crescent City, technically.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about if you were trying to listen as
But
you
you
go.
already did a spoiler.
I
You already said we
did.
might talk
I
about
don't
it.
have to address it again.
Nope.
So, no.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. So we have our houses. So we've got the House of Many Waters. We've got the House of Flame and Shadow. We've got the House of Sky and Breath. And then the House of... What did I miss?
Flame and Shadow, Earth and Blood, Sky and
Blood.
Breath, Many Waters.
Oh, there's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a neat way to organize it, but it's also just another way to structure people against each other.
Yeah.
Because if people are hating each other, then they don't look up.
Right.
Which, maybe I want to talk about this next time.
Well, it's a theme we don't introduce until Sky and Breath.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
save it.
Okay.
I'll write it down
Okay. Just
mentally.
remember that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
Write it
gonna
down
Look
mentally.
at our outline
It's good.
here.
Don't delete it.
Don't delete it. Take a note. Make notes. Let me look at my outline here that I have on paper. Oh yeah. And we didn't really talk about this so much. I don't know in the last one, but just thinking about it now that you have read Sky and Breath, and just like zooming out, why do you think Sarah chose to divide it? Like knowing where we end up at the pit, why do you think she chose the 7 layers of hell?
I'm scared
Of what?
I don't know.
of spoiling something.
Okay.
Because why would she split the first 2 books into the 7 layers of hell unless the 3rd book is going to take us to a completely different place?
Yeah. I agree. Like you know what?
Unless
Thanks.
hell's not an actual
We're going to
other
talk a
planet.
little bit about Sky and Breath Unless what?
Hell's not an actual other planet.
But she confirms in the book it is. In Sky and Breath, it's kind of confirmed that it's another planet.
Because we see
It's another place.
Well, the Asteri have the
Orrery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure how much you want to talk about it.
I don't really. Let's just. You know what? Sorry, we're going to talk about Sky and Breath too.
I mean,
and
we
then
already
we can
read
do
it.
another Sky and Breath episode too.
And we will. This is kind of the silver lining I thought of for having to redo the first one was we can kind of talk about stuff that we find out in the first book.
I also wanted to talk about things that we forgot to talk about in the last episode.
Yeah. And we can do that too.
Which, yes, because we did not. Go ahead.
I mean, considering all the other things that the Asteri have lied about, there's absolutely no reason why they're like, hey, this unlocked room in our secret fortress has literally everything you need to know. Okay, never mind. We will talk about it when we get to that part because that part bothered me.
Yeah, we need to save Rachel's rant for next episode.
Rachel's rant.
Because I think I do. You did enjoy this book.
I did enjoy this book.
Focus
and
on
I
the
didn't
positivity.
not enjoy the next book.
You did not.
I mean, there are things about it that are not ideal. I can't think of any because I
mean, I personally can't think of anything,
I can't, but I'm always open to your
But yes,
perspective.
but I
and
believe you.
That is who we are.
This is my favorite series of hers so far.
I know. Say it again.
Okay, this is my favorite series of hers so far.
I love it.
If I have a nitpick, it's not that I don't like the book. Sometimes I will. That's part of how I like a thing is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like knowing the flaws and the parts that are good and then kind of accepting the whole thing.
And if you ever listen to any of Rachel's other podcasts, she literally has an entire podcast about one television show that she picks apart on a weekly basis because she loves it so much.
Yes.
So.
And a lot of that is me making fun of it too.
Yeah.
And that's part of how I like a thing.
Right. And that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
On this podcast.
Yes.
On TikTok, not so much.
That's why I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah. But like in this scope of things, because we're all mature adults, we make a lot of space for people to have different opinions.
Well, there's different ways of enjoying a thing. There's like, I only like the good parts and I just la through the bad parts. And then there's like, I want to know the whole thing.
Right.
And if anybody comes at me and is like, hey, that section doesn't make any sense, I'm like, agreed. But here's the 6 other things that I liked about it. And I don't feel offended. I also thought that part didn't work. That doesn't reduce my enjoyment of the whole of the thing.
Right. Well, and I do understand, like, we'll save that till next time. I'm going to move on because I don't want to talk about Sky and Breath too much. So we get this intro. I think one of the things that I really like to talk about, I think is really important, is her character development and the way that her character's relationships and dynamics, the impact that those have on the story. Like we said earlier, there is plot and action to these stories, but really what connects you is her ability to build relationships.
Yeah.
And we get this very beautiful friendship. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just taking a deep breath.
I know. Deep breaths make me feel scared. It's called drama.
It's just trying not to be heard on the microphone.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh God. My hypervigilance kicked in real quick. Oh God.
You're like, oh no.
A deep breath. Here it comes.
No, it's fine.
Is everybody okay? But we get these friendship dynamics, and I love a friend. I love found family. That seems to be something that is always a theme throughout her books. So we immediately get this beautiful friendship between Danica and Bryce, and we get this glimpse of how good at intuiting people Bryce is, and we get these little clips of her cleverness, like really early on, like her ability, like Danica shows up and she sees a couple things that are off, like she's like, Danica's like dirty and needs a shower. Oh my God, something big is happening. What's going on? And that really like subtle way of her using the dynamics between these characters and these really intuitive, close friend, like the way that she creates the closeness on the page. I really love that about these books because you don't even realize how connected you feel through their relationships.
Yeah.
And Danica is dead through the whole book.
Yeah.
And she is a living character. And I just think that adds so much to the story in a way that some of, it was fresh compared to her other books.
Yeah.
Unless you are talking about Elena.
She's a lot better in she's a lot better in these books of showing us and not telling us. Yeah.
Right. And I know that was a big thing for, in Throne of Glass. I am in Selena Sardathian, you have had to have read Throne of Glass to be listening to this, or go home, or we'll give you
or don't care about spoilers.
or don't care about spoilers. But Selena Sardathian was a facade. She was a mask.
Yeah.
And so we got a lot of, I am the greatest assassin that's ever lived.
And everyone else is like, you see her? She's the greatest assassin that ever lived.
Right. But we get
There she goes. The greatest
assassin that's ever lived. But like in this story, we talk about the Asteri with this like power and reverence, like, oh fuck, who are these authoritative leaders? They're like stars. They're literally stars. We get this glimpse at the Hind. I love the way that she intros Lydia Servos, right? Because I'm just gonna say it, Lydia Servos is probably a descendant of Aelin. Like, there's no way. She's a stag shifter. She's a stag shifter with an emerald ring and a fire. She shows up as fire.
Yeah.
So I think, damn, I don't want to say that right now. I was talking about the dynamics and the way she builds and the way she gives us information.
Yes.
She just does it way more like subtly and organically versus just telling us what we're supposed to think and feel.
Yeah, this is a much more mature writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And much more mature editors.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of good.
Higher paid
like
really,
editors.
really talented editors.
Like you're making us a boatload
because
of money.
she's
Here's a team.
Her books are selling, this in all, something we can talk about. House of Flame and Shadow comes out in 8 days. This book is doing things that none of her other books have ever done with the TikTok and Bookstagram and this revitalization of people like reading. Like, we're going to read. We love reading.
We love to read.
We love reading so much. And there's so many people reading again. This is the first book that's come out in a time where her stuff is this popular.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are hundreds of people doing the same thing that we're doing, which is having a podcast about books, And this book is, God, my thoughts. I lost it. I don't know where I was going with it. It had a place. I was heading down a road.
This book is doing things. This is the first one that's come out when she's so popular on TikTok and all those other ones. And I think we addressed it in the episode that actually got posted. She's also generating her own controversy.
Yeah, which just to circle back to that a little bit, apologies for saying circle back. She did not post any more spoiler. Like, the other teasers came out and Sarah didn't post them. I don't think she was running her account. I don't think she had a call on that. I don't think she liked the criticism and the feedback that came from it.
Yeah.
I think that she was like, nah, dog, I'm not posting any more of them. Bloomsbury, you go for it. Because the next one that came out, she had nothing. She did not post. In fact, she just recreated her own page in which I found all of the font and all of the branding for so that I can make things look like her stuff.
Yay!
Yeah. You should have seen me and Rachel having a conversation. I'm like, sorry, can you tell me how to figure out a font from a webpage? And I was so proud of myself because what you told me to do, I had already done. And so I had kind of already figured it out faster than my techie friends could answer. And I was like, I'm so proud of you, Kate. Sometimes you're smart.
Good.
Sometimes you're okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're okay. But yeah, this book is... this is just the first book that's coming out at this level.
Yeah.
And
the stakes are high.
Stakes are high.
Yeah.
Yep. Stakes are really high. But we get this intro, our first time around was pretty cool because we talked a lot about the world building and the kind of world she creates.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
we
like all the angels flying on their cell phones.
yeah.
Like, how can you hear?
They have noise canceling technology.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Obvi.
Yeah,
It's not on page, but
they can
obvi.
pay
How can you
for
text and
waterproofing
fly?
spells.
Because he will text and fly.
Who?
How?
Hunt?
I don't know. Do
I
they
mean,
have
you don't have to
do they have flying lanes?
I am so curious about that myself. How regulated are the flying lanes?
I just
Yeah.
think they do whatever they want.
I think
the
they do
witches
too.
fly really low, like just above the tops of the cars, and then the angels fly really high,
They fly above the buildings.
and they fly above the buildings.
Yeah. The building the angels have all the money. They live in the CBD, which is not hemp or a form of
the central business
the
district.
central business.
Would
yeah.
we start using that abbreviated before we use it full? So it took me a really long time
Because
to
she was
figure out.
throwing the dump at you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I know.
She was immersing
I think
you
it
in the
took me
world.
4 reads.
And then
before
Fyro, I was
remembered
like, what the fuck is Fyro? The
yeah,
only one
Five
that
Roses.
doesn't get a short one is the wolves one, the like Moonwood.
Yeah. Well, then where do the humans live?
Asphodel Meadows.
Yeah, Asphodel Meadows. Right. Right.
That's the human.
Quarter.
Yeah.
Human section of the city. But we've got all these gates and these portals, and we've had gates and portals in previous books.
Mm-hmm.
We had, we dealt with a lot of gates and portals with Aelin. So it'll be curious to see how those things show up again in our future installments.
Yeah.
And as we learn more and more about what these gates and these portals do. I like the use of, she has a lot of gods, and Rachel had the best theory. Go ahead.
Which one?
The God theory, your God theory.
But she said she didn't know what it was.
Are we talking about Erd?
No.
Unless y'all had another conversation
We didn't.
without me.
No.
She said like one sentence and you were like, huh? And she was like, I don't know.
Oh.
I said I need to figure out. I don't remember enough of ACOTAR. Like I had
Yeah.
forgotten a lot of ACOTAR.
Yeah, you've
more
only
than I
read it
thought
once.
I had.
Yeah, you have only read it
Yeah.
Oh,
once.
do you
I
want
was
to
like,
reread?
what if they're
I've
all?
read it 5 times.
I was like, what if they're all adventure stories in each other's worlds?
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that I really do think we get way too much mention of time being time, and we haven't had any kind of time movement, and I think time is going to be something that we see shift in future worlds. Where like
Nesta and the strings.
I think that Aelin happened 15,000 years ago. I think Aelin is in the past. I think Aelin ruled a long time ago, and I think that the Prithian universe and the Midgard universe are current.
I would like that
Yeah.
because it would mean Aelin doesn't come back.
Well, I think they can travel through time.
Great.
It's fine.
Always trying to kill
I
Aelin.
thought it was done. Oh.
Yeah. Well,
And then she
you know.
pops back up. Hi, I'm the greatest assassin in the whole
But
world.
maybe
They're
she's
like, what's wrong with you?
maybe she's older now.
Just give her candy. She'll shut up. No,
Yeah.
she would never eat candy. She's the greatest assassin. No, just watch this. Watch. Somebody just puts candy down. And she's like, candy, and runs over.
Well, she was a young woman. She was allowed to have her vulnerabilities, and Candy was one of them. God.
And
No.
she's allowed to have that if she's not in competition with a bunch of like thieves and murderers.
Right.
Who are all living in the same area, all the same in the same castle, all at the same time.
Yeah, okay. I can see the plot point and the plot hole that you're referring to. I get it. I
We've
see it.
agreed.
We've agreed
that it was
she was 17
silly.
Okay, yeah.
and may have
fine.
let her assassin's guard down. Maybe she was trusting her secret Fae poison. No, it was just
No.
like a little plot hole.
It's fine. It's
But-
fine. She wasn't the mature writer. She's going to be in Crescent City.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we get the the first couple. Jesus Christ! It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's probably why I can't focus. Everybody's my birthday. Say happy birthday if you're listening.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
The trench. Let's just talk about the trench.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Halloween, we meet Bryce. We see Bryce being happy, being a party girl. She's super irreverent. She's wearing this like mask. Danica seems like they're best friends. Everything's going great. There's a pattern in writing for Sarah J. Maas. If somebody's doing really, really well, unless it's the end of the book, you're about to get shit on.
Yeah.
Which is why she'll probably take Cassian away from us one day because he's just too much of a golden retriever.
Stop it.
I will fuck you up. I'll come to your
We
New
meet
York
Rune. Don't we meet
protected,
Rune?
security-ridden apartment. I'm just kidding. I would
I
never.
will find you. I will find
You
you.
wouldn't be the only one.
But we get this. Yeah, we meet. It's crazy because we meet Rune at the very end of the Halloween. Like we hear about her brother.
Yeah.
We hear about Then we meet Isaiah. Actually, we have a whole chapter that's from Isaiah's point of view. So we don't meet Hunt in his personness. We meet Isaiah talking about Hunt.
Yeah.
Who's the Umbra Mortis, which is the shadow of death. He's got gray wings, not white wings. You know who else has gray wings, guys?
Who?
Illyrians have gray wings, guys. So what if you were like an Illyrian mixed with an angel? What color would your wings be, you think?
Probably gray.
Yeah, and you know who else has gray wings?
Who?
Demons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Just something to think about.
Like one of the princes of hell, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. He's also got angular eyes.
Yes.
He's described as having angular eyes as a character trait. And we know two other characters. Fury. There's another one in a book called Ekitor.
Amryn.
Amryn,
Yeah.
right. Which it's distinctive.
Yeah.
It's intentional, and we'll see why. Who knows? But yeah, so then once everybody's dead and Bryce has saved some random angel on the street that we don't know, which was kind of an interesting choice, I guess, because that ends up being pretty significant later on. She just like beats him up.
What?
I don't know.
What are you talking
She
about?
beats up the demon
Yeah.
with a table
But we
leg.
see her do like incredible things, and you don't know whether it's because she's like drug addled or because she's like a killer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't make sense, Hannah. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
It didn't.
Well, she has the amulet on at that point.
It's not supposed to make sense all the time. Sometimes you can just say things that are irrelevant to anything.
Okay. Great.
I'm sorry, stop staring at me.
We meet Rune. Back on track.
Yeah, we meet Rune. Rune comes
He shows up and
barging
he's like,
in.
"That's my distant cousin, you son of a bitch."
He's the finest motherfucker that we've ever seen in our entire lives.
Like, why are you here?
cousin
He's like,
twice removed on my mother's side.
You fucking asshole.
Back the
He's like, when do you care about a cousin? He's like, I care about
you
all
guys-
I
Faye.
love my cousins.
Us Faye stick with our family.
No matter how
For sure means family.
Family is everything.
no matter how distant. Really did like
And then
so far.
And Hunt's like, you sure you're not fucking? And they're like, no.
No.
He's like,
Ew.
no. How about, I thought it was kind of cruel how Victoria plays Bryce.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
That was
I actually really hate
Terrible.
that. I really hated that. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense why you would
well,
do it.
it's a good immediate glimpse into how cruel the society is
Right.
that they live in, because she's not
Yeah.
convicted of anything, and yet they were able to take her, detain her, effectively torture
She
her.
has no protection. There's no
Yeah.
like citizens' rights.
And the only
Yeah.
reason she doesn't get dragged off to actually be tortured is because Rune shows up.
yeah. And protects his family, distant cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
And
his
they're like,
sword.
we got a problem, Rune Dannon, the Valbaran Prince of the Fae. Isn't that what he's
Yeah.
called? Crown Prince of the
Whatever.
Valbaran.
Valbaran Fae. Which, guys, does anyone else get an epithet every time we talk about him? Does anybody else have a surname every time we talk about him? It's like, why him though?
I don't know.
Because I don't know either, but it's intentional in some way.
Yeah.
You know?
Reese doesn't even have a last name.
Yeah, he does. It's Starborn. Just guessing. Or Morning Star because he's Satan. It's Lucifer.
Satan.
Maybe.
Satan!
And then we meet Sabine.
Sabine, what a bitch.
She's the most obnoxious character.
She
I just don't
is.
understand a mother that is so, I mean, she's just so low frequency egotistical. She's like all
two-dimensional
ego.
character.
Yeah.
It's all just you're a bitch, she's a bitch.
She's
That's
just
a bitch.
a bad guy.
Yeah, and her father seems so, it just typically characters who have that kind of personality and that sort of insecurity have like some sort of something that happened to her, like a
Secret.
villain
Yeah.
story. We don't have her villain origin story.
She's
Yeah.
not as powerful as she should. Like, she's not powerful. And
And
she
so
covers
she's got
up with it with just by like
ego.
bravado. Yeah.
Yeah. She's so mad at Bryce, which, something to think about. I mentioned one of my friends on TikTok. Remember my friend Kate with
Yeah.
the fairy and the magnifying glass? Because you can't. How else do you talk about emojis? She's got emojis in her name. She was talking about how, like Bryce is never not protected.
Yeah.
Ember, who is Bryce's mother. Ember, interesting name. Autumn King, Ember, Fire. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. But didn't even want Bryce to go to college until she found out that Danica Fendir was going to be her. She was protected by Randall, who was this incredible sharpshooting human.
War hero.
Yeah. She's like constantly protected. Fury shows up. Fury doesn't
yeah.
go to
Befriends
college.
her.
Danica happens to be her roommate. She happens to be friends with Fury.
Yeah, Fury goes to college for a
Assignment,
job, an
yeah.
assignment. Fury gets Bryce's job. She gets her job with Jessica. Jessica just happens to let her get away with everything. But yeah, Bryce is never not protected. And damn it, my brain. Sorry.
So, I mean, but
It's
then.
almost like a little tiny stroke every time. It's like a.
Yes. Been there.
I just like kind of
Been
like
there.
shuts down.
Because it's too cold outside.
I think it's just because I don't know what it is, but my brain just stops working.
Yeah.
It's really
Well,
frustrating.
I was
to
just
listen to.
thinking, like, in the trench, now we have her protected literally by
Hunt.
the Umbra Mortis himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're going on their little investigation, and she has a bodyguard now that's living in her apartment with her.
Although
Yeah.
she makes him stay on the
Roof for a minute. That's really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
She walks around in her panties.
He's like,
She's so
Can you
funny.
open turn the sunball game on and open the?
Can you
open
like
the,
move that curtain?
I'm like
curtain.
trying to watch a reality show, man. Can you just? I'm
And she's
trying to
like,
watch it.
No, fuck you.
He's such an asshole at first.
He is.
Yeah.
He's like a
He's
jerk.
judgy.
He's pretty, he's very judgy, and he's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, he is. He's got like some anger issues. Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
mean,
are the shadow of death.
You are like,
You know,
do
I don't
have
expect you to be nice and
Yeah, you have been enslaved for like 200 years and sold, and you cost $90 million. And you're super powerful, and half your power is just like stuck in your body.
and you've killed like
Yeah.
127,000 people.
And you've got to kill like 340,000 more. You
Yeah.
got to kill 10 times 15 more.
How many
is
is that?
10
So
times
much.
15?
So many.
Too much. But their relation, y'all. Sarah J. Maas has to be funny.
Yeah.
She
she's
definitely
funny.
is.
Bryce is funny.
Yeah,
Bryce
their
is
interaction
funny.
is hysterical. They're
Their
good.
Hunt is funny.
Their banter.
Yeah.
And let us just say that on this podcast, we like Hunt. We think that they are actually mates.
Yeah.
Why would we think they were not?
A lot of people.
some
fucking people. I'm
That's
just
not
kidding.
need
bullshit.
therapy.
I'm just kidding. You can think whatever you
No,
want.
it's fine. Whatever.
Did they
if you want.
read the
You can-
next one where we had
They
magic
st-
Technicolor
you know what it
dream
is?
sex?
You know what it is?
Literal
Yeah.
mating
And
happened.
like magic moves them around.
Yeah.
But they
They winnowed.
honestly, because in a modern fantasy, you can't like meet and love bomb the same way you would. Like you can't like Tamlin and Farah
Oh, is
Yeah,
it 'cause
don't
they
Tamlin
date?
me.
Is that
because
why?
they have to. They're like
Because they
friends
get
to lovers.
know each
Oh.
other.
Because Sarah J. Maas was like, I'm gonna choose another type of relationship.
They're immediately connected to each other. It just
Right.
takes them a long time to like.
They're they meet the like
Be
calls
together.
to like. They recognize their fucked upness. They're mirrors of each other.
Yeah.
They're both super fucking broken, which is why the trench is a great. I really like the trench. That's literally them falling in love.
Yeah.
And then that next section, which we talked about, which actually made it on. It actually made it on when the canyon opens up and we get all the other characters.
Yeah.
But like the trenches, when they're in the trenches, falling in love, learning each other, like their dynamic is really funny. Hunt thinks she's an idiot.
You think she is a brat, a party girl,
like me.
Hannah
called me a brat.
dumbass.
It's fine.
What was that about again?
Because I have a Taurus moon and I like material things. And there was this pot I really fucking wanted, and I wanted it for a long time, and I won't buy it for myself. And I told my work I wanted this pot, and they did not get that pot at the Christmas party, and so I didn't want it. And she told me I was a brat, which is fine.
They just got a different brand.
It's not the same.
And I got the pot
because
I have to tell you that it is the best pot
I
have ever had.
And I got the pot I wanted for Christmas from Santa.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I'm happy that... That's fun. I saw a TikTok the other day of a therapist talking about Taurus moons, and he was like, y'all really like your stuff. And I was like, yeah. I can't help it. I was born this way.
Yeah, I like
Leave
stuff.
me alone. You know, I like my stuff.
My nice stuff.
I wanted that thing. Anyways,
No,
I
you're
digress.
fine.
I digress.
My eye was itchy. This wasn't a commentary.
Is everything okay?
Thank you for telling us that.
Scratching my eye.
Rach, you mad?
It's fine.
Are you mad?
You mad?
I'm not mad.
Is the energy in the room fine? Kate, everyone's fine. It's just cold outside.
Fine. Yeah, I liked this whole section because Sarah is really good when she's super micro, when she's got a couple of characters and she's just exploring those couple of characters. And this was a really nice. We didn't meet and were immediately attracted. Even Feyre and Rhysand are not immediately attracted to each other.
I mean, Feyre is not immediately attracted.
Yeah,
Rhysand knows exactly who she is.
well,
Physically, she's immediately attracted.
She does see him and go, that's the most beautiful man
That's
I've
the
ever
most
seen.
beautiful man I've ever seen.
well, Bryce thinks Hunt is hot.
Yeah,
she just
she
thinks
does.
he's an asshole because he kind of is.
And she hates her father, who is a piece of shit Vanir man.
Right.
Like, that's another thing. Bryce's father is... Well, do we learn that? When do we learn that? I think we do.
We learn that early on, but she doesn't expose herself until the second half.
We don't learn that her dad is the Autumn King until the chapter where we meet Rune. Because I remember writing it down.
we learn it pretty quickly.
We learn it in the first part.
Yeah, in the very first section. It just takes a long time for it to be like significant in any way.
Right.
Because they're like, well, she doesn't have any power and she's half human, so like whatever, what fucking
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And then she's estranged from Brune because they had this one fight. And really,
I mean, that was a really shitty thing for him to say to her.
Right. And really, they've both, like, he wanted to be back with her and she's forgiven him, but she's kept her distance for other reasons. And she's a very secretive character. Mm-hmm. Sarah J. Maas loves her secretive characters.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. She's not weaponized secrecy like Aelin is. Mm-hmm. She's just like, there are things that other people don't need to know. And it doesn't make any difference. And it would harm them to know, so I'll keep it secret.
Yeah, it's almost like a selflessness. Like, it would probably do her more good if she was able to share her power. And, like that twist at the end where you learn, oh, shit, she's like the Starborn Fae.
Yeah.
Like, that would help her in life.
Yeah.
She could get to, because we know she's career-oriented. Like, we know she wants a job that matters. She wants some purpose. She's just, like, really, trying to get somewhere. That would really help her. But she's like, no, because I don't want to take it away from my brother.
Yeah.
Like, she loves very deeply. We learned that. I wonder what would we say her sign is? What vibes do you get?
I was thinking about this the other day. God, I wish I would have written it down.
She gives air sign to me.
Oh, yes.
I think that Bryce is probably like a Libra.
I was going to say Libra with Aquarius moon, but I didn't want you to think I was trying to make her just like me.
I think she probably has more of a water moon because
The
she
reason
is
I
so
thought Aquarius moon was only because of how
quickly she detaches.
Yeah, and how she does keep secrets, or she's able to keep certain things secret.
But that's not necessarily an Aquarius vibe. But I mean, maybe. I mean, I'll hear you that. The stubbornness, that like built-in arrogance a little bit, that's an Aquarius thing. So I could see that. Sorry. I mean, I'm an Aquarius. What the fuck am I saying sorry for? Like, that's real. Real life shit.
Why would you say sorry? You're an Aquarius.
I am the Aquarius. Like, I'm like, sorry, Hannah, but like, I'm an actual Aquarius.
Yeah, and Aquariuses never apologize. So
I say sorry because I'm an adult Aquarius. I
yeah.
am a matured. I am a somewhat healed. I'm at like 75%.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm 63.
Yeah, I'm at like 75. It's fine. I have my low frequency
Running at a
moments.
solid 70s. Good
Yeah.
to go.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have my moments where I like am an asshole. You want to hear one of them? The other day at Olive Garden, I stopped by and the little bartender, I was in hospitality for like 15 years. I like was really good at it. Are you mad at me for telling the
No,
story?
I am not.
It was the deep breath, the deep breath.
It's the Diet Coke.
I
I'm trying to
I'm gonna
burp in
stop
the
bringing
microphone.
Diet
I
Cokes
am
here.
so traumatized
I'm
by
really gonna
people's
stop.
deep breaths
We can't do Diet Cokes here anymore.
because of the burping.
The burping and the sighing and like the pulling away,
And you know
it's
what?
really affecting
eyes
all of us.
It's like any kind of movement.
There's a lot of symptoms
I
coming
think it's
from
really
these.
just hypervigilance that's unhealed.
You're
so
fine.
we're
I'm
gonna
not
take
mad.
me back down to a 59%. But I'm
happened at
walking
the
to the
OG?
walking to the OG Olive Garden, and I worked at an Olive Garden. That's where I got my hospitality start. Hospitaliano. It's lunch, and I always sit at the bar because, duh, like I just don't want to wait for a table, sit in a booth. That's weird. And I'm walking over to the bar, and the bartender comes over, and she goes, "My bar is not clean. None of my bar is clean." And
Why?
I said, "Do you want me to just stand here then?" Because I mirrored her energy so fast and felt like such an asshole because I would have never talked like the ownership of like, this is my bar and it is not clean, so you cannot sit down, person that's trying to eat
Yeah,
here.
that's not you.
I know, but I immediately responded with it with like, okay, well, I'm gonna fucking stand here then. And I immediately was like, Kate, you don't get out much anymore. Like, that wasn't that kind. And she apologized really fast. She's like, as she's cleaning it, she's like, "I'm sorry, that was really aggressive." And I was like, "No big deal, no problem at all." Like,
I love that.
and I know, but I just felt like such a dick. I was like, that was such, like, my immaturity flared up, like my defensiveness.
It
my
happens.
like, I mirrored her
Yeah.
snappy, snidey energy. And as a hospitality person, I would have just said, "Hey, oh my God, I don't want you guys to get your sleeves wet. Give me just 1 second and I'll clean this spot off." You know what I mean? I just would have handled it differently. But
Yeah.
in that moment, I thought, damn, girl, you're a bitch sometimes, but it's fine. Like bunny rabbit bitch, you know? Like you said.
Bunny rabbit bitch.
Like a little bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Do we meet Jolly Jubilee in the trench? Does he move in and
I think so.
Yeah, because the end of the trench is when they go to the gun range.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
so
think they
he's-
are.
And she picks up the gun and he's like, "Oh God, I wish that was my dick."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like the end. Yeah, we get the sexual tension
Yeah.
starts to build at the end of the trench. I think we find out the trench ends when we think for a minute that Sabine might have killed Danica, which
Yeah,
I never.
it's
thought
like
that.
a 2-second long plot line. It's like,
Yeah.
did she? No.
Nope.
Okay.
Throwaway plot. But yeah, we get that at the end of that.
Okay, because
Yes.
that's one of my favorite. Where she's like, "You thought it was?" Because he's like, "Oh my God, I need to show you something," and she's like, "What? What is it?" And it's her little figurines.
She's like panicked.
Yeah, and she's like, "You thought that was a dildo, didn't you?" And he's like, "No, nothing, no comment." Like he doesn't say anything.
It's purple.
And it's because it's purple and
sparkly.
glittery.
Yeah, I love Jelly Jubilee. What a cute little thing to add in a book, you know?
Love that.
Yeah.
And then her, of course, it having that depth of layer that first time she ever like fit in any way because she's been ostracized her whole life.
She wasn't getting picked at
I'm
school.
so tired of her getting called a whore. Like,
I know. Well, she does. I mean, that's
so-
a very common thing. Like, everybody's getting called a whore all the
But
time.
usually she
Aiden
calls
was a
the
whore.
men
Rhys-Sanders
whores.
a whore. Bryce is a whore.
She loves a man whore.
She does love a man whore.
A man whore.
She does.
it was just so, I was like, oh, God. I
Yeah,
mean,
just
I
like
get
a
it. I get it.
really like underdeveloped society.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean,
Like a
come
lot
up
of
with a new
man
one.
energy.
You're all calling her the same thing. Come up with a new one.
Yeah. Well, they're a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
They're like sheep, but scary.
And they're all shitty.
Were you raised by wolves?
All the wolves are
Correct.
shitty.
yes.
God.
Yeah, they were, except for the pack of devils.
Yeah.
And the granddad, the prime seems pretty
He's
reasonable.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Sabine, her wolves are not like terrible.
Yeah, they're
That's
terrible.
what happens when you have bad leadership.
Yeah, bad management.
Bad management
The
makes
prime is the one who's like, she's a wolf.
Yeah.
Because she has the sword. And he's like, yeah, because
And
she's
she's
a wolf.
doing the right thing. She's
Yeah, she's a
protecting
wolf.
the innocent.
Which leads us to the thing you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about last time, which was we had a total overhead projector moment.
And we didn't talk about that at all. Micah's
Fetch the overhead projector.
prepare the overhead projector.
Get my vis-a-vis.
Yeah, Micah was like,
Bring me my
I brought
vis-a-vis.
my own transparencies. You ready to go?
He walks in and lays out the
He
plot.
had them pre-printed. You remember how they'd have them
Yes.
No,
pre-printed?
you guys, in this, he didn't use the overhead projector. He used PowerPoint. He actually probably
okay.
used Google Slides,
Oh,
if
yeah,
we're going to be
maybe.
real.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Could be.
mean? Like,
He's like,
he had it in the cloud.
yeah, his cell phone forwarded the slide.
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
You know, he was doing he brought it in, threw it up on the screen in the library, and was like, let me tell you why I'm the bad guy. And this is how I.
You might want to take
Welcome
this
to my
down.
TED Talk.
well,
Today
my
I will
name
be
is
discussing
Micah.
how I am the bad guy.
I am the bad guy. I own. I'm actually a very selfish man. I don't know if you remember Redna Industries, but I like money, and I wanted Synth to make me a lot of money. I love power, and I can be in a steri if we can get the tattoo on your back to light up and open some shit for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a good time.
There were diagrams. There were
Diagram-
They
Venn
were in
diagrams.
color. There
Yeah.
were Venn diagrams.
Yeah,
there was a
he brought
worksheet.
his stock, his stock portfolio in. It was like the stock ticker was on there. Like, look at my industry.
He brought a TA
Look how
with
much.
him.
Look how much money we've.
Laser pointer.
Yeah, he's like, look how much more money we've made since we've synthetically done magic. It's like straight up
The
Bill.
graph.
Yeah, and you know, he just.
so much.
I just imagine him in like a pair of skinny jeans and like a
Yes.
sweater and his like nasty New Balance sneakers that rich men wear. You know. God. Yeah, he.
That was
His
great.
white wings.
But I'm sorry, but I love.
She works it in a lot better in this than she did in Throne of Glass. Because when we get the reveal in Throne of Glass, it's like, oh, good, you're tied up. Let me go ahead and tell you my whole plan.
Are you talking about Maeve or the spider?
Both.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're one and the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one, it's like she's prompting him through it. She's
Yeah,
like
she's asking him the questions.
She's like
He's
poking
so
his
dumb,
ego.
dude. Villains are so dumb. Hey, you need to ask yourself. Let's have a moment right now, okay? If you're listening to this, if you ever find yourself with some low frequency responses and you have to tell people who you are, you're in your villain era. Yeah. You're in your villain era. So just take a
That's-
moment, reflect, and then we'll give you a task list of how to move through it at the
Yeah.
end.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be a worksheet,
There'll be a
a
worksheet.
pop quiz.
Yeah. But
Do
yeah,
not bring your own transparencies. That's maladaptive. That's part of your villain era. Leave them at home. We don't
Yeah.
want to know about your plans.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it just that it was just when he started doing that, I was like, "Oh my god, they're doing it again."
Yeah.
I love it. I will if you can't have a Sarah J. Maas book without a villain
Oh
monologue.
no, that's how she
Yeah.
ends her book because the next one ends the exact same way.
yes, and
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Like,
even better.
Fucking
then
exactly. Like
infodump.
3 chapters long. It is so long.
And it's incredible. There's so many
long.
answers.
I
Yeah.
haven't gotten to that part yet.
But you've read the book before.
I know, but I don't remember.
Okay.
You don't remember the ending?
Not really.
Okay. Well, and
I'm rereading this, and
It's
it
a
feels
lot.
like the
the
first time.
That's because here's how much of the book nothing happens.
yeah,
And then here's where all the
as Rachel's doing a demonstration really
It's
fast.
98%
90
nothing happens.
I disagree. I'm going to disagree a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
all right,
going to
all right.
disagree a little bit. While there are lulls in Sky and Breath, like we see in some of her other books, the pacing isn't quite as consistent, and the plot is what's a little bit off in Sky and Breath.
Yeah. It's because she's juggling so many characters.
Yeah. It's because she said I have to do another murder mystery.
Well, it's the same problem she had in Wings and Ruin.
Yeah.
It's the
Yes.
exact same problem. She
Yes.
had too many moving pieces.
Yes.
She's not a bad writer, but when she gets too many moving pieces, she gets lost.
She'll slow down. She just slows down a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree. In Sky and Breath, there is, because I had to go back. There's so much in Sky and Breath that I was like, I don't remember reading that part. Like,
And then
what's happening?
I don't know. We'll talk about that when we talk
I
about
can't
Sky and
ever
Breath.
remember what order events happening. We've got all this stuff going on with Therian. Like, Therian does a blood oath.
Yeah.
You know,
And then the main plot line for most of the book is
It's
resolved like
really
very
early.
just like bloop, done, resolved.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, anybody got a free weekend? Yeah, I'm free this weekend. Cool, let's go to the Asteri
village.
Let's go invade the Asteri
Which
archives.
is the dumbest thing ever.
If you've got some time. Yeah, I got some time. And I think I have some like air miles. We can just
jet on over
let's
to
go. It's
Pangera,
no problem. Yeah.
check out the capital city. Yeah, which we'll talk about. Keep us on track, Hannah.
Yeah.
Can't have the eye.
No, I'm sorry. I just I got distracted by a text message, and then I was trying to figure out what you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
Is
The
it
end
is
of
everything?
Sky and
What's
Breath.
the text message? Is everything okay?
Something that I think was sent to me accidentally.
Is it a dick pic?
No,
Unfair.
I wish.
I gave you a dick today.
Yes, thank you,
You're
Oh
welcome.
my
Rach,
god,
for
they're so
giving me
beautiful.
your dick.
Where's my dick?
Yours
My
is
dick's
over
over
there.
there. I got some D on my B day.
Yeah, you did.
I love some BDAD.
I love B Day D. Oh my god, can I read you the Sarah J. Maas poem that my friend sent me this morning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, can you pause so I can find my phone? So my friend Beth, who I have mentioned several times, because I only have a few friends, and she's one of them. And she's one that has been reading
Quality over quantity.
always. She has been like reading these and then listening. So I always, whenever we say something, I'm thinking about her.
Yeah.
And like I have to remember to be like, Beth, you can't listen to these pods until you're done reading both books. And she'll be like, dang, that's a bummer. And I'm like, our one listener, I don't want her to be
And
sad.
more than that, we have
Twister.
like
Four.
27 followers on Apple Podcasts.
27.
Holy shit
I
balls.
love every one of
I
you.
love
You're
all
my best
27
friends.
of you.
Please reach out.
I finally logged
My
into
phone
Apple
number
Podcasts.
is you what?
I finally logged into Apple Pod. You can't look at Apple Podcasts
Meg, hey,
unless
Meg.
you're on Apple Podcasts.
Meg, I love you. You're very kind. Thanks for leaving us a good review. Meg, Rachel talks about you a lot. Because Meg's
fair.
your good friend. Yeah.
yeah.
She seems
She's
like-
our
Oh my gosh.
most loyal patron.
And
One
then
of
my
Hannah's sweet
Megan-
friends. Oh my God. Best story. Go ahead. You want to tell it?
No.
Okay, so I have this follower on TikTok who likes all my stuff, and I look at her. She doesn't make a lot of TikToks, and I looked at her stuff, and I was like, "Who is this person? Like, I don't know her. I feel like I thought she might have been Leanne for a second, but I was like, that's not what Leanne looks like." And she tagged me in something, and I was like, "This person knows me. She
get
speaks
me."
my language."
Yeah.
Who is this lovely human? And so that's when I guess she saw that I like looked at her profile, but then she sent me a message like an hour later. She's like, just so you don't think I'm a weirdo, I'm in Hannah's book club. And I was like, oh my God, hello, my new best friend. How are you? It's so nice. Thank you so much. I felt so seen and heard. So shout out to her too.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
been like listening to every single episode. So.
Yeah, she was super
I like the
nice.
friend that sent you like the screenshot with her text
Uh-huh.
message. That
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, Rachel got it. Like,
Yeah.
I also said that.
Yeah.
for sure.
Said
somebody
the
likes
exact
me.
same thing.
Okay.
I'm not the villain to somebody. Yeah.
You're
No,
not. No,
you're
everybody,
the- it's the
everybody
Rach
likes
fan
Rachel.
club.
Everybody likes Rachel.
Do they?
Yeah. Yes.
Except that one reviewer who was like, but there's
I'm not going to listen
lady.
to. You know what she did? She criticized Throne of Glass. How dare she?
And will continue to do so.
Yeah.
And will continue.
And we will continue to argue in the comments about
Yes.
it. Just kidding. This is the
Okay,
SJM
let's hear it.
poem.
I'm ready.
I think that she brought this up in her mind, not on ChatGPT. Because I don't know how ChatGPT would know some of this.
So wait, Beth wrote this?
Beth wrote this poem, I
Okay,
think.
let's
I
hear it.
think so. It says, "Happy birthday, you radiant soul. May the winds of Temtem's mighty breath carry your dreams to new heights. May your spirit soar like a Braxos in the sky of the wastelands and be as strong and unbreakable as Rhysand, Rowan, and Hunt combined. On the crisp and chilly day when the stars have aligned to mark the anniversary of your birth, may the bite of the air remind you of walking through Valaris on winter solstice and provide as much joy, comfort, and togetherness as the Bat Boys' annual snowball fight. In the pages of your life left unread, may you discover hidden realms in the world and within yourself, forge unbreakable bonds, and like Aelin, embrace the good, bad, and ugly, and wield the strength within you. Cheers to you, my dearest and wonderful Kate, like legendary tales told by storekeepers across Aurelia. May your name be whispered in awe and your overall wonderfulness and badassery commemorated."
I love that so
That was so good.
much. Beth, that was amazing.
That
I
was
know.
really good.
I'm just going to take my present and throw it in the trash
No,
now.
no. I
She
was
likes stuff. We already talked about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
love
She likes stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
But
Oh
I
my
also
God, that
love
was amazing.
Yeah, and it made me cry first thing in the morning. I love that. Yeah, it was really, really kind. I was like, Beth, you need to put poetry on your resumes.
Yes. Update your resume.
I'm a small poet. I could write you a poem too. I would just be like, ChatGPT, would you put this in iambic pentameter for me? I would like this to be an
I'd be
iambic
like,
pentameter
roses are
in
red,
the voice of
violets
Jane
are
Austen.
blue.
Thank you.
Resand is
Regency.
hot.
And so are you. Roses are red, violets are blue. Lorcan is everything, and so are you.
But what did he do?
But what did he do? Oh my gosh.
that's awesome.
Yeah, anyway, so I love a little tearjerker. Tearjerker SJM poem. And she knows me.
Yeah.
Felt seen, felt heard, felt understood.
Nice.
Beautiful.
As you should.
Yeah. But I think, great start, great re-record.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
had more info the first time around, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
I was trying to think if there was
I think this was
anything
good.
like specific
I
that
really
we're
like the
missing.
gods. I want to touch on the gods
Yeah.
because I really do think that we're getting another series in the next few years, and it's going to be called. I mean, there's been talk for a long time. It's going to be the Twilight of the Gods. In all of these stories, we are seeing the hands of higher powers. The god, the mother, the cauldron. Like the mother straight up shows up at the end of Silver Flames.
Mm-hmm.
The cauldron is its own character in Wings and Ruin.
Yeah.
They are pulling strings.
I want a holy symbol that's a guy motorboating somebody's tits.
Okay.
Oh, we got one. Solas.
Okay.
What if Solus and Cathona are like Rowan and Aelin?
The
You know what I
embrace.
mean?
The
Yeah.
embrace.
And I'm trying to put them.
That's how I want to be remembered. Can you imagine that's how you remember, like, as two powerful beings? You're like, well,
your
there was
head
that
between my
time.
titties. Yeah.
yeah.
Cathona and her tits. Yeah.
Me and my happy place. That's what
Right.
I want.
Well, yeah.
If I was a god.
Well, and I mean, Mala Firebringer, right?
Mhm.
Was a sun god. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just too many connections.
Too many active, actually existing gods.
that are pulling strings. Otherwise, Aelin being sent off.
And Aelin sends the gods out of she removes them from their world and sends them into another world.
Yeah, she doesn't send them home
No, she rips open a portal and shoves them into a whole
in
other
defense
world.
of her great grandmother, who she's hated the entire time.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
You
I'm
brought
just-
it up.
I know.
I was just pointing out,
Just
like,
making a note of
how many gods did she send into the other world?
6,
17.
7.
7.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Isn't 7
How
the
many
most powerful
full number?
magical number?
I said that about that book. I don't know. I don't remember which pod it was on. I think it made it into the last pod about the books that are mentioned at the end of this one.
Yeah.
It's the book of breathings,
breathing,
which is the book Farah has a tantrum and throws into the cauldron at the end of Wings and Ruin. Fuck this book that we spent so much time getting.
bloop, and it appears in Jessica's library.
See how much more you enjoy something when you can admit
like, pick
the ridiculous parts of it.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I have another friend who just finished Wings and Ruin last night, and so we had a 2-hour conversation this morning about it.
I saw someone who said maybe ACOTAR was her experimental series where she was just trying to figure out how much she could get away with. And they put that quote where it's like his cries of pleasure drowned out the sobs of the wounded and the dying when she's giving him a blowjob in the tent.
Yeah, that's a funny joke.
That's an unhinged scene.
Yeah, no, it is. It is out of
unhinged
pocket.
moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like
What the?
and that is one of my favorite jokes online. Like
Yeah.
people who really know, it's always a Vaughn joke. It's always the
Vaughn.
the war tent BJ joke, the book of breathings when Farah just like tantrums it away.
Yeah.
Meh, meh, meh. I'm not gonna save him today. You
She's
know,
like, well, that didn't work. Shit.
throw it in the
If only I
void.
could have read it. Wait, she can read by that point.
Yeah, she could have. Yeah, she can read. Yeah, those jokes make the universe. Vaughn will always. We are a Vaughn fan. This is a Vaughn. This is our entire. We're a Vaughn fan cast.
Like whatever's happening in the world, I
just
just
silence.
imagine him flying in the background, like
Yeah.
graceful.
I asked you guys about the post that I'm going to do the day before it comes out is going to be a bunch of crack theories and headcanon stuff. They're really funny. And one of them is about Vaughn. Like, if you have a question about a character in any universe in SJM's world, it's most definitely Vaughn.
For sure, Vaughn.
100% Vaughn.
Yeah.
The Hawk in Sandriel's Triari.
We don't meet him.
It's Vaughn.
We don't meet him in
It's Vaughn.
any of the books.
And what happened was they were like, "You're the Hawk," and he missed Rowan, so he didn't correct them and say, "Actually, I'm an Osprey.
Actually,
Actually, I'm an Osprey, but I miss Rowan, so I'll be the Hawk here."
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. Watch him suck. Like, watch him have the worst personality.
he does.
We never
We don't
met him.
know.
I know him.
Yeah.
I know him.
I know Vaughn.
I do know Vaughn.
And he's so weird.
Yeah. So, what do you take for the first two parts? What's your favorite part? Like, what do you think? What do you take with you the most if you had to think about it?
I think I just take with me just really the small moments with Lahaba, and, in the library.
Talk about her. I love her so much.
Like just
Lahaba, Jessica.
the banter, the fangs and bangs,
Fangs and bangs.
Thanks. Yeah. I like
Fangs and bangs. Lahaba is so intuitive. I think we talked about that. That made it into the last podcast.
Syrinx, just seeing her little world, her little life that she has built up for herself in the face of like just devastation.
And also, hanging out with Bryce in the first couple parts is kind of like hanging back out with Nesta a little bit.
It is.
Yeah.
Like,
It
Bryce is really hating on Bryce. It gets really, really low. And I think Sarah does justice to that kind of
She's got her
headspace.
peppermint diffusers. She's trying.
She's trying, like, no therapy for me, thanks.
Yeah.
She's so stubborn. That's what I'm saying. I think she's got more, like, I could also see Bryce as like a Gemini.
Oof.
Gemini with something like
I love Geminis, by the way.
like almost a Leo moon, like something fixed, a fixed sign that makes her really like really challenged to change, but very like gung ho. Maybe like a Taurus with Mars. I don't know.
I just like seeing where she starts.
Yeah,
Because the first section isn't really where she starts. It's
Right.
after she loses Danica.
Yeah.
And she's finally alone. And she's like, I won't get my leg fixed because the pain is
is
like,
I
what
deserve
reminds me
Danica.
that I deserve it. I deserve this. Yeah,
And she's given up everything. She's given up dance. She just goes to work. She goes home. She hangs out with her magical creature
Puppy.
that she treats like a dog because he doesn't use his magical
but he's
powers.
probably a person.
Yeah.
Like, I think Syrinx is going to end up being like Scabbers.
Yeah.
But like good Scabbers.
Scamper.
You know what I mean? Like, he's going to end up being like the Prince of Hell.
Why else would Lahaba? Sorry. Why else would Jessica give
Why do
him?
you apologize?
Well, I don't know, because you cry when I say Lahaba.
Oh, you can talk about Lahaba. I
Okay.
cry,
Well, like,
on your birthday.
cry constantly.
Yeah.
But like, why else
Every
would
day.
Jessica?
Every day.
Jessica gives her things, and it's usually for a reason.
I think that...
Or she lets her, why else would she be like, Bryce, come to my office. I would like to show you the dismantled gun above my desk. And just for shits and giggles, the bullet is in the safe.
And here is the code so that any of the $1 million Arcasian amulets that I have just hiding away.
You won't take them, but here they are.
Yeah. No, Jessica is
Just so you know.
definitely
Now I'm
intentionally
gonna go.
protecting.
I'm gonna leave the country for several months.
Am
Yeah.
I leaving the country or the world?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, sorry. Nope, not going to say because I don't remember what it was. But
Dang
it
it.
was, dang it.
Mini
I like
stroke.
Jessica's role in the next book,
Yeah.
where she'll be like, no, fuck you, Bryce. And then as soon as she
20
brings
minutes
it up,
later.
it shows up. And
Yeah.
she's like,
Messenger at your front door.
I know that Jessica is somebody powerful that is looking out for Bryce.
yeah, whether
Yeah, I really-
voluntarily or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I was going to say that Nope. I can't remember. It's fine.
Fine.
It's all
Good
right.
thing I don't get paid to do this.
We're going to
I was gonna get your dinner if that counts.
Nah, dog, I got it. But I'm just saying, like, thank God I'm not a professional, and I don't have to feel bad about the fact that my
No,
brain
you
doesn't.
don't.
My brain doesn't work all the
I
time.
just started the
Today.
another podcast with somebody else just for fun.
How many? How many?
I don't want to talk
Seven.
about it.
I have seven. I have seven
Striking
podcasts.
for seven.
Hobby pod.
But she's
Wait, how
really
many pods do you have?
right now 4, but Coming 81 Kilos
It's about
almost
to
done.
end.
Yeah.
Is it with Meg?
Yeah.
Meg.
Meg. So
Meg. Welcome to the network, Meg.
But Meg talks really fast.
Wait,
and
is it
she's
is
just
it
like
a phone one?
yeah, we're gonna try doing it.
Are you going to
remotely.
record your faces?
No.
Apparently, that's how you make it.
Anyway, she like talks
On
really
Facebook- on
fast.
TikTok.
And she worries about like, oh, it's too informal, but like we're an informal chat podcast. This is what I would expect from an unscripted chat podcast.
Yeah.
If you want super linear, finish every single thought and sentence, we would have to be scripted, and that
Yeah.
would be boring.
I don't mind those, though. Those are
I
the kind of
don't
pods I
like-
listen to, though. I don't necessarily think it would want to be scripted, but like, I do appreciate when people have a thought that they finish.
I do enjoy.
You finish most of them. You just
finishing.
remember the ones you don't. You enjoy finishing. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank
I
you.
caught that.
I
Not caught
also love to finish. Thanks for my
that. I
dick.
gave you a dick.
I thank you. I appreciate it. Tattoos. We didn't talk about tattoos.
Tattoos are hot.
She likes tattoos.
She's covered in tattoos, dude. Sarah J. Maas. She's got long sleeves on and everything. That woman is covered in tattoos, and I know this because she has tiny tattoos all over her hands.
Yeah,
and
she
you
does.
don't just get hand tattoos. Hand tattoos come after
They're like,
sleeves.
yep.
My arms are covered, and
Yep.
I have hand tattoos.
You work up to that.
You work up to that because your
Yeah.
fingers are the most painful place to get them. They do team building. She's building a court,
Yeah. An ox.
an ox,
A cadre.
triari. There's a lot of magical items. I love our magical items.
Yeah.
How many magical items do we have?
She's got the Arcasian amulet.
Amulet.
Arcatar.
Arcatar.
Ireland.
Magic sword.
Our god killer. Luna's horn. A sword. Danica's sword.
Yeah.
You know?
Which we don't know what it does.
Star-
except it's
star
an
sword.
heirloom.
Yeah.
The star sword. Not the dagger.
Right. We've got, let's see. Oh, we haven't really talked about this. I really like the way that Sarah mixes. I think she does a great job of mixing magic with technology.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be like Michael Crichton specific, like explaining exactly.
No.
But I find that the magic's easier to understand in this world than it is, say, in like, why did this. Like in Rings and Ruin, when the High Lords gave Rhys the power, it just like jumped his heart instead of like giving him more power.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was asking me about that today, and I was like, "Yeah, that's just one of those things that we
Just don't.
Shh, close your
That's-
don't say it out loud."
Just like Sarah likes to end with a info dump, to like clear all of the stuff up, every once in a while, she will absolutely take over the reins for a second and be like, everyone, I'm about to do a thing, and it's to get us to the next part, and I just need everybody to be okay with it, okay?
Yeah.
And then we just get to the next part.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then we all have to go, okay, we didn't see it, Sarah. Like, we didn't see you come in and redirect the world a little bit.
yeah.
Because you can't uphold a previous rule and get where you need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do see a little bit.
Doesn't somebody say in Sky and Breath something about the magic versus technology? And they were like, why can't it be both? Or,
Yes.
like
Yes.
magic technology, isn't
Is
it
it the
all
Mech
magic?
Warriors? Because this is a fucking anime? Is that what
Yeah,
we're talking
maybe.
about?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's hypaxia, I think, and it
Yeah.
might happen in. No, that absolutely is a line that somebody says. They're like, it's this. It's actually that's the same argument when in the best Thor movie that ever existed, the second Thor, where they go back to when Natalie Portman's character goes back to, and she's like, "Is this the?" They're like, "Yeah, this is we call this magic. You would call it science. It's the same thing, just
Yeah.
a different understanding and different ability to."
Yeah.
I mean, if you have the ability to affect science with your hands, I mean, like that's magic or power,
magic.
like
Yeah.
superpowers, which is just another word. We call it magic here. In another universe, they would call it a superpower.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it is one and the same. But the synth is new, right? Like they are saying, like it's not magic, it's not science, it's something in between science that made the magic stronger.
Yeah.
Like a synthetic magic, which is a cool concept.
It's like the
Yeah.
hand wavy way that we heal the horn.
yeah,
Like it's a healing magic. Okay, but it'll heal a broken magical item? Sure. Yes, correct. It
Yeah,
will. Science
yeah.
will heal the broken magical item.
yeah,
Because it's light that's not light and magic that's not magic.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, it fits the thing.
Yeah.
Right. But next time we were going to talk about anything
Sky and
else?
Breath.
Any other thoughts on the first two parts of this book?
Nope.
No, I think that pretty much covers
I'm
it.
going to go to sleep tonight and not be able to sleep because I forgot to say something.
It
but
doesn't matter because when we get to Sky and Breath, it's like there
Then
was a
we
little
can-
tiny joking, just kidding, at the end of Crescent City because nothing that happens in the first one matters in the second one. There's no synth. There's no, like everything we learned in the first one, they're like, just kidding. That was all the, never mind. It's fine. I'll just
Yeah,
leave it
it's
for the next
over.
time.
It's a new book starting next.
Yeah. Part 2.
Yeah, I'm just taking that all in. I'm just taking that all in. Yeah, I mean, that's not wrong. Yeah, not
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. You remember what you thought Danica was up to? No. Wasn't
Well,
even fucking.
Sky and Breath
A tiny
feels
bit.
like a middle book so much. It's just a bridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a long bridge of
Yeah.
how do I get from that story to there?
Right.
And she does go back. It definitely has that, like you said, the Wings and Ruin lull where there's so much happening. She's like, okay, well, the murder mystery thing worked really well in the first book. So let's bring in this Sophie Renast and we'll do another murder mystery. And then, but it is a different book.
Yeah.
It's the Empire Strikes Back for sure.
But Empire's so good.
it
I think-
takes warming up to, I think.
Yeah. In retrospect, though, Empire's a pretty good movie.
Well, if you watched Empire Strikes Back and you couldn't immediately go on to Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that'd be annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm glad I never had to do that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
See,
glad I never
that's
had to
what
do?
this is.
You know what I'm glad I didn't have to live through? And I think we've mentioned this before. I'm glad I didn't have to read Empire of Storms, want Kingdom of Ash, and have to read Tower of Dawn.
Oh
I'm
my
grateful
God.
that I got vote. I did not have to wait.
Yes.
That's why people hate Tower of Dawn.
Yes.
They're like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you want me to lateral right now?
Yeah. You just
I
want to put
don't
the
want
brakes
to
on.
fucking lateral.
I
I
wanna
want to know
know
where Rowan's wife went.
Where is Rowan's wife?
With
Where
Vaughn.
is Rowan's wife? Where is she?
Yeah.
What are Lord Lortkin and Lead gonna do?
Lorkin and locking.
Lortkin and Lockin. Where is Vaughn? I want the answer to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. feeling good about it. Great re-recording, Rachel.
Great
Go
job.
ahead and you can do this more often if you'd like. Please don't do it again. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And we will see you next time when we're going to talk about Sky and Breath.
Sky and Breath.
We might get it out before House of Flame and Shadow. Rachel, are we going to go to that midnight thing?
Yeah, I thought we could.
Hannah doesn't want to go because she's not cool like us.
Well, she said it's a
That is
school night.
very late at night. for
It is
me.
super late at night, but you don't mind?
But
it's kinda
actually,
dry for
I think
you,
the
though.
main issue
Salisbury?
is that I have my child that night.
So is the 30th is a Tuesday, correct?
Yeah,
So
it's a
it comes out
Tuesday.
next
I have-
Monday night.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have my child. There's no way I can do that.
So I do want to say we'll talk about one more thing and then we'll go. But this book has been leaked. It is being sold out in the world. The Kroger stores and all of the stores that own Kroger have put this on the shelves. And I have seen like 4 or 5 copies get found. And there's a lot of people looking for them. I got my friends looking for them. I was like, you guys, if you see this, I sent them a picture of it. I
I'll
was
just
like,
wait till mine comes in the mail.
somebody today I made a TikTok like a month ago, and somebody's comment today was, this book was leaked 10 days ago. And I was like, bitch, did you look at the time? Like, I
didn't just record this
didn't
today.
do this today.
Yeah.
So I deleted it. Mean, I'm mean. I'm so mean.
Bunny bitch mean.
I'm so bunny bitch mean.
You got to do what you got to do.
I'm like a tiny little ferocious rabbit. I'm gonna get you. Like the, I'm gonna get you. Don't fuck with me on social media. Anyways, okay. Well, we're gonna do Sky and Breath. Rachel has thoughts. I love the episodes where you have thoughts.
Rachel's
Well,
gonna
that's
rage.
good.
Rachel's gonna rage.
It's not because I don't like a thing.
No, I think there
No,
are
I
issues
love
with
it.
the second book too. To me, it feels like Chamber of
It's definitely
Secrets.
And we're gonna talk.
it's a
all
Sarah
about
J.
it.
Maas moment where she was like, I know where I want to go and I'm not sure how to get there. So I'm just going to do a little bit of driving.
Yeah,
And
it has a lot of small moments.
there's a lot of good
It's
parts
a book.
of it.
It's a book of small moments.
It's the big macro movements that definitely feel like, what the shit? This is not what I expected from these characters at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I think the decision to go to the Asteri's house is like fucking.
You are immortal. You have all the time in the world. Are Asteri going anywhere? I don't fucking think so. So you had time to wait for this all to die out a little bit. You could have waited an infinite amount of time.
Yeah.
And like waited for them to no longer be looking at you anymore and then gone. You didn't have to be like, well, I got an opening on Saturday. You
Yeah.
guys? Well, I mean, I'm fucking free. I could cancel my
free.
plans. It's fine. We'll just Uber over.
Head out to the
It's
other.
fine. We'll
it's like on
send-
another continent.
We'll send Hunt over. He
it's
can
like
get some
if
guns.
we were like, you
talk to
guys
his
trying to go to
boss.
South America this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys trying to go like
and
to
bef-
the Vatican this weekend?
Yeah. And before you do that, you go into and get a bunch of guns, talk to your boss on the way out, who's absolutely on the Asteri side. But,
But
that's
I
gonna
think
be
that's
fine.
not real. I think that was a lie.
You think it was a lie that
Yes.
she betrayed
Yeah.
him? Okay.
I just
Maybe.
don't. I won't believe it.
But still, just like,
I mean, you can.
I have thoughts.
Rachel's gonna rage, and it's gonna be a great time.
It is.
Yeah, but
Be
we
prepared
have
for
read House of Flame and
Rachel
Shadows
rage.
by the time we talk about Sky and Breath. Because I don't
Probably
know.
not me.
I don't know if I
Well-
cannot talk about it.
No,
The moment I am finished with it.
Well, let's end and
I'll
then we'll
record
set
by
it up.
myself.
So until next time, friends.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Is it hot in here or is it just me?